Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Spurs Live here, where we provide you all the latest news regarding Tottenham Hotspur. Big up to everyone who's in the chat right now. Hopefully everyone is having a great day and everyone is doing well. I'm Josh, or Tot, whatever you want to call me. And yeah, but we're going to be spending the next around, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour together talking all about the latest Tottenham Hotspur news. Big up Chris from Meta Football TV. Big up Josh. Hope you're well. I'm doing very well. You know, I'm living life. Living life. Yeah, nothing better than that. Now there are a couple of things I do want to get to before we do start the live stream, and that is again just to let everyone know. Link is in the description for you to go check out Brandy on on Instagram. I will post a little advert mid stream, so you guys can actually have an understanding of exactly what they do. So yeah. Now also we got a couple of transfers to talk about before we start the stream. If there is any transfers midstream, we will get to it. If anyone does have any comments or stuff they want to put out, be sure to do it. People on Instagram, big up to the Instagram people. Make sure you head over to YouTube to get all your comments read out like we are doing right now. For example, what do I think of Omar Marmoush? Head over to YouTube to comment that. And before we start the video, like I said beforehand, hang on. Don't know why I can't see this. No, I just want to get the video out. But yeah, you know what? We're gonna deal with this very soon. But for now, I think this is the best way to do this. I wanna get you guys out like this. So give me 1 second. In the meantime, get all the comments coming through. I'll say hello to everyone whilst all comes through. And before we start, let me quickly just run you through a quick message and a thank you from our sponsor, Brandy.
Amplify your brand's voice? Meet Brandy, the experts in customized mics. Personalize your mic with your unique style and logo. Follow them down below on Instagram.
Alright, there you go. You can once again check out Brandy, who is a brilliant sponsor. Just for the latest ones who are
you looking to amplify your brand's voice? Meet Brandy, the experts in customized mics. Personalize your mic with your unique style and logo. Follow them down below on Instagram.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's this microphone here. You guys can get this lovely customized mic. Just head over to Brandy. But lads, that's enough for the chit chat. Let's get straight into it now. Big up, Chris Organ. I saw that. It's completely fine. Big up to Chris. Smash the likes on the button. Yes, please do subscribe here. Subscribe. Audio Artisan. Morning, Josh. Good morning, Audio Artisan. Hopefully you're doing well. How many subs are allowed in a friendly? I think as many as you really want in a friendly. I don't think there's a limit in friendlies. From what I understand, because if you actually saw, Tottenham basically played their whole new team, so it's literally like 11 new subs. So I think it's ultimately as many as you want. But yeah, all subs are allowed. Exactly, it's as many as you want. Now, let's talk about a couple of things now. Big up to Idan Satovitz is in here. Big up to all the lads who are in here. Very much appreciate the support. Let's talk about the match for a second. Now, the match was very interesting. It was a game of two halves, literally. We had a second team who came out, and there was a lot of positives to take, but there was a couple of stuff I wanted to see a bit more. Now, there's a reason why Jamie Donley, Alfie Devine, are class as one of Tottenham's next gems. That you could see, even though Newcastle did have their youngsters on the pitch, you could see that Jamie Donley, Alfie Devine, Tyree Hall, they were levels above. Now, going into the game versus Newcastle, we did have a lot of, interesting thoughts, especially when that lineup came out, such as such as why are we playing such a strong lineup? Why are we, why is Van der Ven in? Why is Dragusin in? Or maybe actually not why, but why is Sonny in? Why is Maddison in? That's the questions we had. Now, this live stream is supposed to be talking about all to do with the transfer news. Here, guys, on Instagram, put your comments on here. Hem Football, I see you put I see you commented a couple of things, but I can't share it with anyone because you commented it on Instagram. So head over to YouTube and I can upload it so everyone can see. But what do I think about Eze? I think he's class. I think he fits into the Tottenham Hotspur system perfectly. But for now, you can see that I put up 3 players in a title. It's Toney to Tottenham, Onana Interest, and Callum Hudson Odoi update. Now, these are 3 players that we've been linked with for the past week. We've been linked with Ivan Toney. Arguably, we've been linked with him since January. And I'm going to start off with Ivan Toney. I think that's the one we're all talking about. That's the one we're all, we're all kind of looking at. I'm not saying he's the player we're all looking at. I'm saying he's a position we're all looking at. That striker position is so crucial coming into next season. It's such a crucial role coming to next season. It's genuinely one of the most important. And I'm going to read you out something that was said here by Ange Postecoglou in regards to Sonny, and can he be played as more than just a striker? I need 3 Sonnys as 2 wingers and a striker. That would solve all our problems. It's fair to say Ange is a fan of Sonny, but that's the problem. Coming after next season, I think that's it for Sonny here. I think this is probably going to be one of his last seasons at Tottenham. This season is probably going to be one of his last, if it's not his last, then the following season will be his last at Tottenham. I don't see him being here for another 3-4 years. I can't see it. I'd love to see him probably return to South Korea, maybe playing the Korean League or something. Show back some support to fans that showed him love all over his career. But that's personally my opinion. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on Ivan Toney. Now, Ivan Toney is such an interesting striker because the way he moves with the ball, it's not like any other striker. He utilizes his body to his benefit. In every single position he has, he knows how to use his body, and that's one of his strengths. Now, if you had to compare, for example, the likes of Isak and the likes of Ivan Toney, both are phenomenal. Both are great in their own respect. But personally, one has got the body, one doesn't have the body. One has got the pace, though, which I'm talking about. Isak has got the pace. Ivan Toney doesn't have the pace, though. So it's like I don't want to compare him to Dejan Kulusevski because there's nowhere near you can compare him. But it's like would you rather have a clinical striker but doesn't have that much pace, but's got plenty of body, plenty of strength, can hold up the ball, or do you want to have someone like Alexander Isak who can run behind the line, can run in front of the line, break the lines? He can utilize his pace for the benefit of the team. Might not be the best to hold up ball. So that's the question you have to ask. Because when I'm looking at the striker, personally for me, I think the striker has to have body. The striker has to have body. It's a must. It's a must. There's no way that a striker can't have the body. Now, I'm going to put the link in the description for anyone who does want to come and have their say. in the meantime. But that's really it for me in terms of talking about Ivan Toney. Now, next one up on the field is this guy here. It's this geezer here. Amadou Onana. Now, we have been linked with him again this summer, or we've been linked with him throughout the whole season, basically. And look, I think he's perfect for the Tottenham team. I really do. I think the way he gets out of possession is brilliant. There are a couple of, negative things that are about Onana, but I think he's brilliant. And just before we get the guest in, we are going to get on to the last player we want to talk about, personally, on my point of view, is this geezer here. It is Callum Hudson Odoi, the Chelsea reject. The Chelsea reject, if you want to say. His stats this season for Nottingham Forest. Where did Nottingham Forest finish even this season? They finished, 17th. For finishing 17th, it's not too shabby. 18. He scored 8 goals and 1 assist during his season. And according to Transfer Market, again, nothing to do with me. According to Transfer Market, he is worth around 15 mil. So we can get him for around 20, 25 mil, I'd say. He's a left winger again. He's had around 29 to 36 appearances, 37 appearances for Nottingham Forest this season. He can play left midfielder, left winger, right winger. So really all round he can play. But look, that's my thoughts on those 3 players. I'm going to get the guest in, which is Chris from Meta Football TV. Make sure to go show him some love. Let's bring Chris in. Yes, Chris, how are you, mate? How are you doing?
Morning.
Good morning.
How are we?
All good, all good. How are you? Back with the Tottenham depression now. We're back at it.
What do you mean back with it? We've always had it.
Yeah.
Hope everyone's well.
How
old am I?
he?
How old am I? No, mate.
I don't know who he's referring to. Is he referring to you, to me, to Callum Hudson Odoi?
Probably one of the players you were talking about, mate, not me.
Yeah. Well, he's 23 years old, Callum Hudson Odoi.
Yeah.
But Chris, how are you?
Yeah.
You alright? You doing well?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into personal issues. So we'll just go straight into football, mate. I'm fine. Got other stuff going on, which is not good. But let's keep it tickers. So fine. Thank you. Pleasure to be here as always. Thank you for having me on. And please subscribe to this guy and like his channel. The best stuff out there.
Cheers.
And a good guy as well. So, and I wouldn't just say that for the sake of it. So let's get it done.
Cheers, Chris. Cheers. Well, look, lads. Once again, this is Chris's YouTube channel. Go check him out down there. We aren't ending the show here. Usually we do this at the end, but because Chris, we'll give him a little shout out mid stream. But Chris, listen, we're now back at it again. Whether it's Pochettino, whether it's Conte, whether it's Jose, whether it's Nuno, now Ange Postecoglou, we're back at it again. The summer transfer market. As we all know, we're going to be linked with every single player in the Premier League this season. We are going to. It's obvious. We are going to. But in the past, I would say week or two, there's been news regarding these 3 players: Ivan Toney, Amadou Onana, and Callum Hudson Odoi. Now, just for the fans out there, number one, we did put out a poll, so keep on, what's the word? Voting on the poll. What of these players would you take first? If you had to pick one of these players, and why would you take him?
Well, out of Callum Hudson Odoi and Toney,
Ivan Toney, Amadou Onana, and Callum Hudson Odoi.
Oh, I can't pick one because we need at least 2 of them. Because you need to parapet the midfield. And Onana, even though I haven't seen him that much at Everton, I do know that at Lille he was a complete boss, because he would control the midfield offensively and defensively very, very well. Of course, playing for Everton is a different thing. It's a different script, okay, because he's got a different manager, he's got different players around him, and the way they set up and the necessity is different. But I think that we would definitely need him in our midfield to up the quality and definitely to give our midfield that shoring up that, you know, the what we've been missing, because you know, to give a bit of context, a lot of people say we've been poor on set pieces, we've been poor defensively, we've shipped a lot of goals and all that. Yeah, but you have to understand why we've been in those situations in the first place. Why do you give away corners? It's because we're just sitting with the ball at, you know, next to our goalkeeper and, you know, just tapping it over the byline because we're useless up here. No, it's because the play comes from either, you know, lack of ball retention, because the opposition has regained it, because we haven't, you know, it's basically our own fault, and obviously through the other teams as well. But if we're not shoring up the midfield intelligently, we need someone to do that for us, right? And I think that Onana is a good option. There are other options out there, but Onana is good because he's done it for Lille. And then Hudson Odoi or Toney. I think we need more Toney than Hudson Odoi, if that's the only option that you're giving me. And I like to play within the rules, mate. I don't want to be cheeky and get three out of the. So you've given me two options. I take Onana for the midfield and Toney.
Yeah.
Why? Because he can play deep and he can distribute and he's got good ball retention and he can fight with the defenders, right? So, you know, we've got players that can play on the wing already. What we don't have is a 9. So out of those two options, I'd take the 9. Because he offers you more versatility. Callum Hudson-Odoi, he's not a 9 and he won't be able to do that, which is why we're weak in that area. So I would take Toney out of those two.
Yeah, no, I'm slightly disagree. I think the CDM spot is the most important. So if I had any CDM there, I personally would take a CDM. But at the end of the day, what you also got to look at is the quality. And for me personally, again, Toney's quality is unbelievable. It's unbelievable out of, you know, them three. But okay, Chris. Now we saw. I actually don't know if you watched the Newcastle game, but there was an interesting. Did you watch it, by the way?
No, I didn't know.
Okay,
I was
so there was an interesting section to the game where we got to see the youngsters play. Obviously, now how do I say this? Do you think Ange now needs to implement a couple of these youngsters into this team? Because I can guarantee you, I know we do, but do you think, from your opinion, do you think we also got a Manu inside of us? A little Phil Foden, a little Cole Palmer? If you think about it, there's about, I would say around 1,000 people, 1,000 people in the academy. Yeah. Players all age. I'm talking about all age. Now, there's no way that in that 1,000 youth we don't have one player who can help this team. There's no way. There's literally no way. Now, the question is, how do we find this? It's how do we find it? There is someone there, but it's how do we find it? Do you want Ange to start utilizing his youth a bit more, or are you more? No, let's get the job done and buy more experienced players in a transfer market.
I think you need a mixture of a bit of everything. But of course, that is the easy answer. But you know, the only way you're going to find out whether these players are good enough is by giving them time. And with time comes consistency. And with consistency, of course, you have to get there by getting used to A, how you play, and B, by being around the other players that are more, set in your starting 11 and etc. etc. Because if not, you're just going to put Mikey Moore in there, and he's going to be totally lost. Although he understands the concept and what the manager wants, but he's not used to, maybe the left wing does this and I have to do that, and But you only get, and this is basic stuff. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's neuroscience, right? It's not rocket science, and it's not. It's basically getting used to how players play, and you only get that with time. And so, but I think that there has to be players in there, and there are players in there, but they just have to be given time, and you just can't throw them in at the deep end. And for example, I go off Mikey Moore's post-match interview, like side, on the side, after the Man City game, and I think that he said, "Well, the speed of the game was amazing. He didn't expect it to be so quick, so pacey, right? So if he is a top-notch like academy player, and even he finds it fast, that level has to be that academy level has to be so good, right, for them to even be exactly. Is that, and it's not knocking them, it's just the reality of the game. You see, now if you were to go to, for example, another team, or even if it was Spurs, and your manager didn't play open, fast-flowing pace football, right? For example, a defensive-minded setup, it would be easier, because the ball doesn't have to be pinged around at 600 miles an hour. That's the difference, you see. But the way we play, there has to be a certain caliber of player that fits the way we want to play. So you might have, I don't know, 10 players. I'm just saying 10 players that are absolutely brilliant, but not brilliant enough to, you know what I mean? It's very specific, something that you need to adapt to, to pull it off.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think, when you got players coming to the youth system, coming to the first team from the youth system, a lot of it changes. Number one, from what I understand, it's the speed, obviously, like you mentioned. It's also different players now he's playing with. He's playing with completely different players. And look, I'm gonna go for literally 2 minutes. So give me a second. If you want, you can continue, Chris. Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
No, that's fine, no problem. I'll hold the fort for you. All right, so big up everyone here. I can only see YouTube, the comments coming in. Audio Artisan is saying here, and good up to everybody. Jonathan, I can see Jonathan, and Audio Artisan. Excuse me. Ash Phillips looked composed. Yeah, I mean, I like Ash Phillips. But what I was saying just now, he was great at Blackburn. Blackburn is different level, different way of playing. And can he cut it at this level, or what is expected, depending on what is required? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. That we're only going to know in time, and if he's given the opportunities. But yesterday he seemed composed. Does anyone else want to, like, while Josh is away, leave it in the comments what their impressions were of the match? Did any other of the academy players surprise anyone? Anyone look underwhelming? Did anyone look overwhelming? Did anyone look as expected? I know that is his name Tyrese Mitchell? Is that his name? Had a great game. I saw on the internet that he was quite good. On the contrary, everyone seems to be bashing a penalty missed by Bryan Hill, which is quite surprising. And Jonathan, if you're still here, you're talking about Callum. Yeah, Callum Hudson Odoi. Thank you for that. 23. So anyone wants to leave their question or their comment regarding yesterday, please feel free to do so. But yeah, academy. I think that, and I'm sure I'm going to touch on that as well. I'd like to touch on that with Josh when he comes back. But what I will say in the meantime is that I think that a big problem that we have at Spurs, as far as I'm concerned, and I might be ignorant on this, is the fact that you don't have a philosophy. There is no philosophy. There is no way of playing that comes from the top and goes down, like Ajax, like Barcelona, like Man City, like so many other teams that have academies that play the way. Why? Because there's no identity, there's no philosophy. What philosophy are you basing it on? Because when you chop and change a manager, that manager has a way of, philosophizing, seeing the game. So that translates into the lower teams. Yeah, you might have a director of football, you might have this, you might have that, but if it chops and changes, well, then there's no real chain that you follow. Hi, Josh. I was just saying, I'm not sure if you heard, but what I was saying yesterday, regarding yesterday, the academy players, and I was just touching on that. It's a real problem that we haven't had consistency. There's no like philosophy at Spurs, because you could have the best training ground, you could have the best facilities, you could have 1,000 players that are absolutely brilliant, but what model, what philosophy are they following? Like Ajax, Barcelona, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, all these huge clubs, even not so huge, right? But at least they're following a philosophy, so that it from the top down, or the down upwards, they are following a model, so that you can take for like a 16-year-old, stick him right into the first team, and there might be some kind of rough edges, but at least they know what they're doing. You can't do that here, because there's no pattern, there's no philosophy, there's no guideline to follow. You see, and that evidently comes from the top. Not blaming anyone per se, but there's nothing to follow.
100%. You look at the likes of, again, I want to compare my team to the best of the best. I will look at Real Madrid, look at Barcelona, best academies in the world. They always have their own style. It doesn't matter what manager comes in. Yeah, if for example now Xavi comes in, he wants to play tiki-taka. The academy knows and understands about tiki-taka. But if, for example, hypothetically speaking, I know this would never happen in a million years, but if Jose Mourinho would come into Barcelona, there would be he would be changing, tweaking it a little bit, but the model would still be there around tiki-taka. Pep Guardiola, the best in my opinion, one of the best academies in the world, Manchester City. Yeah, every single player that comes out of Man City, or sorry, not every, a majority of players that come out of Man City, go into Man City's first team, which ends up becoming such a great player, becomes such a a youngster, it's looking like he's going to have a bright future. Now, same thing goes with Jurgen Klopp with Liverpool. The only one I really question, which is a bit bizarre in a way, is Chelsea, because
I knew you were going to say that.
because they're similar to us in terms of they're switching managers left, right, and centre, but their academy is just great. It's great.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think it's and correct me if I'm wrong, and everyone who's watching, they can correct me. I'm not in the know about Chelsea, but I think it's more a model of creating great academy players to then be able to be sold to make profit as a business model, and not as a sporting model for something that can be like an Ajax, Barcelona, Man City. As a philosophical model to follow. It's more a business model to churn out good players to then be sold for profit, like Lyon does. Lyon does that, and Lyon is Benfica. Yeah. These kind of players, these kind of they don't follow a philosophy of play, of identity. They follow business models to make money, which is not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not. It's just done another way. So Yeah.
Well, look, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cut this short. This live stream got some personal issues I've got to deal with. So I will have to cut this short. Make sure to go subscribe to Chris here at Meta Football TV.
Thank you.
Yeah, get him to 200 subscribers. Come on, guys, just get him to 200. And subscribe here on Spurs Live if you'd like to. I gotta shoot. And I will see you guys.
Okay, whatever it is. Peace and love. Okay.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Come on, Spurs. Bye-bye.